Right, as India powers ahead on its ease of doing business ranking, we are now 77 from a position of 100 last year. That's a jump of nearly 23 odd points. I think congratulations are due for a man who's been tirelessly working on those rankings. The Department of Industrial Policy and Promotion and Secretary, Mr. Ramesh Abhishek, joins us right here on ET Now. Thank you very much, Mr. Abhishek, for being with us. Many congratulations. And I think that smile gives away a lot more than you would through the course of this interview. But if you can help us explain 77, now 100 last year, the 23-point jump that has happened, what has that come on account of?
Supriya, this result this year is also a culmination of all the work that we have been doing for last 3 years plus. Because most of the results in this exercise doesn't come in a short time. From 2015 onwards, the construction permit reforms were being done. Online system came in municipal corporation in Delhi, Mumbai in April and May 2016. And many of the reforms have been done in the last 2 years. But now that stakeholders have reported to the World Bank that these reforms are actually being felt on the ground, they have given us credit for that. So we have a massive jump from 181 to 52 in construction permit. And then of course in trading across borders also, customs, JNPT, shipping, they have been doing excellent work in the last 3 years plus. And now we are seeing the result. There have been dramatic reforms, and from 146 we have moved to 80. And similarly in starting business, we have done a lot of reforms. There is a improvement, though that is a more difficult reform to get into the top 50 because our distance to frontier is already very high. So there is stiff competition over there. But I think these are the 3 major areas of improvement this year.
No, fair point indeed, sir. But I want to specifically talk point by point, and I think we've seen a massive jump of 129 points as far as the construction permit ranking is concerned. From 181 last year, we are now at a number 52. Will you also, for the benefit of our viewers, help us understand how the time taken to obtain construction permits and also the cost of getting construction permits has gone down over the last 1 year?
See, what has happened in the last 3 years is that earlier people had to apply to various agencies outside the corporation and within the corporation, the departments, separately for NOC. There was no common system, common application. There was also no online system. So the process reengineering was done, and all these forms of various agencies, all the information that they need were integrated into one common application form. And also it was made completely online. The offline system was completely taken out. So now you didn't have to run to various agencies, department, that cut down the time. And when you applied in the corporation online, the information was pushed to various agencies in the back end, and they had to give their NOC within 15 days. If they did not give their NOC, we brought in the concept of deemed NOC. And if they had an objection, they had to raise it upfront. And if they did not give a permit within 30 days without any objection, the permit was also deemed to be given to them. So a digitally signed permit was sent to them. And after the permit was given and the construction started, the various inspectors used to go to inspect the construction up to plinth level and on completion. We made a system of common inspection so that the applicant doesn't have to run around and wait for inspectors to come on different days. So I think all these innovations, online system, process reengineering, deemed NOC, deemed approval, common inspection, and reduction of charges. For example, Delhi Jal Board, they brought down their fees by 90%. Similarly, there have been massive reduction in charges. So I think costs have come down, the time taken has come down, and I think that's why we are seeing a dramatic improvement in this particular indicator. And this is the result of work of the municipal corporations and the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs in Government of India over last more than 3 years.
No, absolutely, sir. And just before I move on to the questions where we haven't improved, I must highlight here that we have actually improved on 6 of the 10 parameters that the World Bank does put in place, whether it's dealing with construction permits, trade across borders, starting a business, getting electricity, getting credit, and enforcing of contracts. We've indeed improved upon all of that. But if I may ask you a quick question on paying taxes, sir, and I remember last year on the same time we had a conversation and we thought that GST will help us go up many notches. Why has that not happened? And in fact, on paying taxes, we've slipped 2 positions. Is this because GST still needs to stabilize? I mean, what in the system is wrong for our paying taxes ranking to have not gone up?
I believe that actually because of data correction in this indicator of paying taxes, we have gone down a little bit. And because of the reforms of GST and corporate income tax coming down to 25% for companies with turnover up to 250 crores, we have actually improved because data correction has led to some reduction. But you are right. So if we look at these tax indicators only till the period of December. Our GST reform came in July, and till December still there were some issues with filing of returns and all that, which have got subsequently improved. Actually, it improved after October itself last year. So the full impact of GST reforms will be felt next year, and the change has been happened because of data correction and because other countries have done better in some of these indicators. But our reform of GST has been a game changer, and there is no doubt whatsoever that we will see the full impact of GST reform in the next year's ranking.
Absolutely. I don't doubt that either, and I think GST is a game-changing reform. You're right there. I think many of the changes that made GST a better reform happened after December, and maybe that's one of the reasons why it's not reflecting. But another question, sir, and I think one of our biggest game-changing reforms has also been the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code. And on resolving insolvency, we've now slipped from 103 to 108. My own presumption is other countries perhaps have fared better, and which is why the gap has kind of widened. But if I may also ask you a question on our parameter, the fact that there is legal quagmire as far as the IBC is concerned, has that been one of the factors why we haven't fared as much as we would have liked to?
See, on Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code, we got our improvement for enacting that code last year itself. And this year we have got improvement in access to credit because of the IBC provision that secured creditors now get the topmost priority. So we have an improvement in our access to credit index. See, the major now improvement in this indicator will come when we have more recovery in this process. And that will happen when more and more companies go for reorganization and not for liquidation. Even today, because of the past issues, more and more companies are actually going for liquidation. So now that the system of IBC is becoming stabilized, robust, and people can see the results, we are definitely hopeful that the majority of the companies will indeed go for reorganization and not liquidation, and then recovery rates will go up, and then it will be reflected in this ranking of IBC indicator next year.
You're absolutely right there that as far as resolving insolvency is concerned, we actually got a big jump on account of implementing the IBC last year, and which is why perhaps the difference is a little narrow this year. But if I may also ask you, sir, on enforcing of contracts, yes, we have jumped, but we've jumped just about 1 odd position. Is that continuing to be an issue that is beyond the realm of governments and policymakers like yourselves to solve? Because enforcing contracts requires judicial reforms that haven't really happened in our country.
You know, this year government has amended Parliament has amended the Commercial Code, Commercial Benches Act. So now we have been able to open commercial courts in Delhi and Mumbai, and the respective high courts have done that, and they are already operational. And once commercial cases transferred to these courts are fast tracked, and we have a quicker disposal of these cases compared to the previous experience, we will have an improvement in this indicator as well. So this is definitely one of the more challenging reforms along with registering property. But I think this very positive development of law enabling opening of commercial courts in Delhi and Mumbai will help us next year. So this is a work in progress, and I am very optimistic that we will make improvement here as well.
So, you know, jumping up 23 ranks, and especially after you've jumped up a significant rank last year, is not an easy task, and which is why I think congratulations are due. But if I may ask you, measure of improved, you know, investment climate should be reflected in more investments breaking ground. When will we see that vicious cycle come into motion? Of course, these are good indicators. Things are getting easier for businesses. When will we see businesses take that leap of faith? Because I'm presuming improvement in doing business should be followed by larger investments, which have still not taken off.
You know, Supriya, as you know, improving the ease of doing business is important for reducing the cost of doing business. It reduces the time that you do to get various approvals and processes done. When you talk about investments, it's a much larger decision that factors in so many issues. Ease of doing business is only one of them. I think right now we are looking at making things simpler, making our processes simpler, making resolution faster, enforcing contract faster. This is required for all businesses and existing businesses in particular. And we also need this for smaller businesses because they suffer most when there is no ease of doing business. So our goal is to make things easier for businesses to operate, to start, to wind up, and generally improve our business environment. Making an investment is a decision that people take based on so many considerations.
I agree with you on that count, and I will quickly ask you a last question. I know you're a man much in demand today. I think if somebody told us 4 years back that we would be in top 50, many of us would be very, be very cynical and say, go ahead, stop daydreaming. But I think today, when at 77, top 50 doesn't look like a very elusive, very elite club. It looks like we can dare to dream to be there. What should the focus area be to get to top 50? And is it in range of maneuverability as far as next year's ranking is concerned?
Actually, this dramatic jump of 23 and 30 last year, 53 in just 2 years, just shows what we all are capable of when we get together, when we have a commitment from the top, we have a motivated civil service, and we work together with our users and stakeholders to completely transform our business environment. This is what we are capable of, and I think working together and having this positive mindset is extremely important. So far as getting to 50 or even better than 50 is concerned, see, this is a process that has been unleashed. We are going to make continuous improvement as a country, as a governments, and as civil service. The results come a little later. There is a lag behind your doing reforms and you're getting the results. So now more and more results are visible of things that have been done in the earlier years. So we will definitely get to top 50 and even better in the coming years. There is no doubt about it. We have to continue this reform momentum, and with the kind of reforms that are already being done, I have no doubt that we should be able to do a good improvement next year as well. It's very difficult to quantify what exactly will happen next year, as it was difficult to quantify this year as well. But I think we should continue this work and work on this over a period of time and not look for short-term results or shortcuts.
And I'm sure your task is very well cut out for the next year's ranking. But thank you very much and congratulations once again. India jumps from 100 to a 77, a 23-point jump in ease of doing business rankings over last year, much to the credit of the government and policy makers working tirelessly like yourselves. Thank you very much, Mr. Abhishek, for speaking to us right here on ET Now.